in the sun-drenched hills of ancient Canaan, where wild thyme and rosemary scented the warm breeze and the distant bleating of sheep blended with the low murmur of wind through olive groves, lived a man named Jacob, also called Israel. He was the grandson of Abraham, the son of Isaac, the bearer of an ancient covenant that God would make his descendants a great nation, as numerous as the stars above and the dust beneath their feet. His household was alive with motion, children running between tents, women grinding grain and spinning wool.
This grain is grinding so well today, and this wool is spinning beautifully. The thread is so even.
Men repairing fences and leading flocks to fresh pasture. 12 sons, each shaped by different mothers yet united under one father, filled the camp with laughter, rivalry, and the everyday drama of a large, passionate family. At the heart of this lively world stood Joseph, 17 years old, tall for his age, bright-eyed, quick to smile, and already showing the sharp mind that would one day guide nations. He was the firstborn son of Rachel, Jacob's beloved wife who had waited so long for children, and that single fact placed him in a special circle of affection. Jacob could not help himself. He loved Joseph more openly than the others. To show it, he had a skilled weaver create a long, flowing robe of many colors: crimson, deep blue, saffron yellow, emerald green, stitched with intricate patterns that caught every ray of sunlight. When Joseph wore it, the garment moved with him like liquid light, sleeves billowing as he walked among the flocks or carried messages for his father. To the brothers, it was more than a robe. It was a daily reminder that their father's heart leaned toward this one son above all the rest. Joseph, for his part, was not arrogant. He was earnest, observant, and honest, sometimes painfully so. He worked alongside the sons of Bilhah and Zilpah, helping tend sheep, hauling water, binding sheaves at harvest time. Whenever he noticed something careless or dishonest in their work, he quietly told his father. The brothers saw it as tattling. Joseph saw it as loyalty. The gap between them widened with every sunrise.
Joseph's been tattling to father again. That tattler! He needs to learn his place!
Then came the dreams. One clear night, while the camp slept under a blanket of stars, Joseph dreamed he was standing in a harvested field. He and his brothers were binding sheaves of golden wheat. Suddenly, his own sheaf rose upright and stood tall while the other 11 sheaves circled it and bowed low to the ground. The image was so vivid that when he woke, he could still feel the dry stalks in his hands. The next morning, still full of wonder, he told his brothers as they ate flatbread beside the fire.
This bread is good, brothers.
Brothers, I must tell you of my dream.
Their faces darkened at once. "Are you saying you're going to reign over us?" one asked, voice thick with sarcasm. "Will you actually rule us?" another snapped. They hated him all the more for the dream and for the way he told it, without shame, almost as though he believed it must come true. A few nights later, a second dream arrived, even bolder. This time the sun, the moon, and 11 stars were bowing down to him. He told the family at supper.
Father, brothers, I had another dream. The sun, moon, and 11 stars bow to me.
His brothers mocked him openly, but Jacob, though he rebuked the boy, kept the matter in his heart, turning the strange images over like stones that might one day reveal hidden gold. Not long afterward, Jacob sent Joseph to check on the brothers who had taken the flocks north to Shechem. "Go and see if all is well with them and the animals," he said. "Bring me word." Joseph set off gladly, the many-colored robe fluttering behind him like a banner. He walked the familiar paths, past shepherds who nodded in greeting, asked directions when he reached Shechem and found the camp moved on. A man in the fields told him, "They've gone to Dothan." Joseph followed, unaware that from a ridge above, 11 pairs of eyes had already seen him coming. "Here comes the dreamer," one brother muttered. They plotted quickly, anger and envy boiling over. Reuben, the eldest, felt a pang of conscience. "Don't kill him," he said.
Throw him into that dry cistern over there. Don't shed blood.
"Throw him into that dry cistern over there. Don't shed blood." He planned to slip back later and pull Joseph out. When Joseph arrived, smiling, asking how everyone was, they seized him.
What are you doing? Brothers!
The robe came off first. Then they lowered him into the empty pit. He called up to them, voice echoing off the stone walls, but they sat down to eat as though he were already gone. A caravan appeared on the trade road, camels laden with spices, balm, myrrh, heading to Egypt. Judah spoke up. "What profit is there in killing him and hiding the body? Let's sell him to these Ishmaelites." 20 shekels of silver changed hands. The traders tied Joseph's wrists and led him away. Reuben returned later, peered into the cistern, saw it empty, and tore his clothes in grief. The others dipped the beautiful robe in goat's blood and carried it home. When Jacob saw it, he cried out, "A wild animal has devoured him." He refused comfort for many days. The camp felt colder, quieter. In Egypt, the Midianite traders sold Joseph to Potiphar, captain of Pharaoh's guard. Potiphar's household was large and well-ordered. Servants, cooks, gardeners, overseers, storerooms filled with grain and wine. From the first day the Lord was with Joseph. Everything he touched succeeded. Potiphar noticed. He saw how accounts balanced perfectly, how servants worked with new energy, how the fields yielded more than expected. Soon he placed Joseph over his entire household. "Everything he owns is now in your care," Potiphar told him. The blessing on Joseph became a blessing on the whole estate. Joseph grew taller, stronger, more handsome. The household staff respected him. Even the children followed him around asking questions. But Potiphar's wife began to watch him with a different kind of interest. Day after day she spoke seductive words. "Come to bed with me." Joseph refused firmly, politely, repeatedly.
"No, my lady. I will not do this wicked thing and sin against God.
Joseph, please. No one will know.
My master trusts me completely. He has held nothing back from me except you, because you are his wife."
He avoided her as much as possible. One afternoon the house was empty. She caught him by his cloak and pulled. Joseph tore free and ran outside, leaving the garment in her hand. Furious and humiliated, she called the servants. "This Hebrew slave tried to force himself on me. I screamed and he ran."
This Hebrew slave tried to force himself on me. I screamed and he ran.
When Potiphar came home, she showed him the cloak and repeated the lie.
Potiphar, my husband, a slave attacked me. He tried to take me. This cloak is proof.
Anger flared in Potiphar's eyes. He had Joseph arrested and sent to the prison where the king's prisoners were kept. Even in that grim place, the Lord remained with him. The warden quickly recognized Joseph's character. Within days, Joseph was running the prison, overseeing the inmates, managing supplies, keeping order. The warden stopped checking on anything. He saw that the Lord gave Joseph success in everything he did.
"I'm putting you in charge of everything. I see God gives you success in everything. Brothers, work with purpose. Let order and peace prevail here."
Yes, Joseph!
Sometime later, two of Pharaoh's highest officials, the chief cupbearer and the chief baker, offended their master and landed in the same prison. Joseph was assigned to care for them. One night each man had a troubling dream. In the morning they looked anxious. "Why the long faces?" Joseph asked. "We dreamed, but no one can tell us what the dreams mean," they said. Joseph answered, "Don't interpretations belong to God? Tell me the dreams." The cupbearer spoke first. "I saw a vine in front of me. 3 branches budded, blossomed, and produced ripe grapes. Pharaoh's cup was in my hand. I pressed the grapes into the cup and gave it to him." Joseph said, "The 3 branches are 3 days. Within 3 days Pharaoh will lift your head and restore you to your position. When that happens, remember me. Mention me to Pharaoh. Get me out of this place. I was kidnapped from the land of the Hebrews, and I've done nothing to deserve a dungeon." The baker, encouraged, told his dream. 3 baskets of white bread were on my head. In the top basket were pastries for Pharaoh, but birds came and ate them. Joseph answered, "The 3 baskets are 3 days. Within 3 days Pharaoh will lift your head off your shoulders and hang you on a pole. The birds will eat your flesh." 3 days later, on Pharaoh's birthday, the cupbearer was restored to his post. The baker was executed. The cupbearer forgot all about Joseph. 2 full years went by. Then Pharaoh himself had dreams that left him shaken. In the first he stood beside the Nile. 7 sleek, fat cows came up out of the river and grazed among the reeds. 7 gaunt, ugly cows followed and ate the fat cows, yet remained as thin as before. He awoke troubled. When he fell asleep again, he dreamed of 7 plump heads of grain growing on one stalk. Then 7 thin heads, scorched by the east wind, sprang up and swallowed the good heads completely. Morning came. Pharaoh called every magician and wise man in Egypt.
Wise men of Egypt, I have dreamed 2 dreams. In the first, 7 full ears of corn were consumed by 7 thin ones.
None could explain the dreams. The chief cupbearer standing nearby suddenly remembered. There was a young Hebrew in prison, a servant of the captain of the guard. We told him our dreams and he interpreted them exactly as they came to pass. Pharaoh sent for Joseph at once. Guards brought him from the dungeon.
Joseph! The Pharaoh summons you! What? Why?
He shaved, changed clothes, and entered the throne room. I have had dreams, Pharaoh said, and no one can interpret them. I am told that when you hear a dream, you can explain it.
It is not in me. God will give Pharaoh a favorable answer. In my first dream, 7 fat cows were devoured by 7 gaunt ones. In the second, 7 withered heads of grain consumed the healthy one.
Pharaoh recounted both dreams in detail. Joseph listened, then spoke clearly. The 2 dreams are one. God has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good cows and 7 good heads of grain are 7 years of great abundance. The 7 lean cows and 7 worthless heads scorched by the east wind are 7 years of famine. The famine will be so severe that people will forget the years of plenty.
7 years of great abundance are coming throughout Egypt. The famine will ravage the land because the famine that follows will be so severe.
The dream was given twice because the matter is settled by God and he will bring it about quickly. Then Joseph added practical counsel. Let Pharaoh find a wise and discerning man. Appoint officials to collect 1/5 of the harvest during the 7 good years. Store the grain in the cities under Pharaoh's authority. When famine comes, the stored food will save Egypt. The word struck Pharaoh like lightning. He turned to his officials. Can we find anyone like this man, one in whom is the Spirit of God? To Joseph he said, since God has revealed all this to you, there is no one wiser or more discerning. You will be in charge of my palace. All my people will submit to your orders. Only in regard to the throne will I be greater than you. In that moment, everything changed. Pharaoh placed his own signet ring on Joseph's finger. Servants dressed him in robes of fine linen and put a gold chain around his neck. He was given a chariot, the second best in the kingdom, and men ran before it shouting, "Bow the knee." Pharaoh gave him the name Zaphenath-Paneah and a wife, Asenath, daughter of the priest of On. Joseph was 30 years old when he entered the service of Pharaoh. During the 7 years of abundance, Joseph traveled the length and breadth of Egypt. The land produced so much that they stopped measuring the grain. He stored it in every major city, granaries rising higher each season. In his own home, Asenath gave birth to 2 sons. The first he named Manasseh, saying, God has made me forget all my trouble and all my father's household. The second he named Ephraim, saying, God has made me fruitful in the land of my suffering.
God has made me fruitful in the land of my suffering.
Then the 7 years of plenty ended.
The 7 years of plenty are ending.
The land is changing so suddenly.
The famine began, severe, relentless, stretching across every land. In Egypt the storehouses opened. Joseph sold grain to the Egyptians and to everyone who came from afar.
Welcome, travelers. Let the grain flow freely.
Bless you, Joseph.
Distribute with mercy. Yes, my lord.
Thank you.
The money flowed into Pharaoh's treasury.
The treasury swells. Record it all. Yes, my lord, it is done.
But more important, people ate. Lives were preserved.
Lives are being preserved through God's plan. The purpose of the preparation is fulfilled.
In Canaan, the famine pressed hard. Jacob heard there was grain in Egypt. Why do you just stand looking at each other? He asked his sons.
There is grain in Egypt. Then we must go. Sons, prepare for the journey. Egypt will save us.
I have heard there is grain in Egypt. Go down and buy some for us so we may live and not die. 10 brothers went. Jacob kept Benjamin, the youngest, Rachel's other son, at home. "I am afraid some harm might come to him," he said. The brothers arrived in Egypt and bowed to the ground before the governor. Joseph recognized them instantly.
My lord, we are your servants. Rise, you have nothing to fear.
His heart pounded. He spoke roughly through an interpreter. "You are spies. You have come to see where our land is unprotected." They answered, "No, my lord, your servants have come to buy food. We are all sons of one man. We are honest men, not spies." Joseph remembered his dreams, the sheaves, the stars, and tested them. "To prove you are not spies, bring your youngest brother to me. One of you stay here in custody. The rest take grain for your starving households." He kept Simeon and put the others under guard for 3 days. On the 3rd day he said, "Do this and live, for I fear God. Leave one brother here, take grain for your families. Bring your youngest brother so your words may be verified." The brothers spoke among themselves in Hebrew, not knowing Joseph understood. "We are being punished for what we did to our brother. We saw his anguish when he pleaded with us, but we would not listen." Reuben said, "Didn't I tell you not to sin against the boy? Now we must give an accounting for his blood." Joseph turned away and wept. Then he returned, had Simeon bound before their eyes, and sent them away with full sacks, and secretly replaced their money. When one brother opened his sack at the camping place and found the silver, they were terrified.
The silver! It's all here!
This makes no sense.
What does this mean?
They told Jacob everything. He mourned, "You have bereaved me of my children. Joseph is gone, Simeon is gone, and now you want Benjamin. Everything is against me." Time passed. The grain ran out. Jacob said, "Go down and buy a little more food." Judah answered, "The man solemnly warned us, 'You will not see my face again unless your brother is with you. If you send Benjamin, we will go. If not, we cannot go.' After long hesitation, Jacob agreed. "Take some of the best products of the land as a gift, balm, honey, spices, myrrh, pistachio nuts, almonds. Take double the silver, and may God Almighty grant you mercy before the man." When Joseph saw Benjamin with them, his heart surged. He ordered his steward, "Take these men to my house, slaughter an animal and prepare a meal. They are to eat with me at noon."
Take these men to my house, slaughter an animal, prepare a meal. They are to eat with me at noon. Yes, my lord.
The brothers were frightened. "It's because of the silver," they whispered. "He is going to make us slaves." At the door they explained everything to the steward. He smiled. "It's all right. Your God gave you treasure in your sacks. I received your silver." He brought Simeon to them. Water was brought for their feet, fodder for their donkeys. They arranged their gifts.
The balm is set, may it soothe his spirit. Spices and myrrh complete it. Favor is near.
Joseph came home. "How is your aged father?" he asked. "He is alive and well," they answered, bowing low. When he saw Benjamin, he said, "God be gracious to you, my son." Then he hurried to his private chamber and wept. After washing his face, he returned. "Serve the food."
Brothers, this invitation is a trap, but we can't refuse the Pharaoh.
This way, sirs, do not fear.
They were seated according to age, from the firstborn to the youngest, and they looked at each other in astonishment.
Brothers, how can this be? Impossible, we never told them. The order is flawless.
Who could know us so well?
Portions were served from Joseph's table. Benjamin's portion was 5 times as much as anyone else's. They ate and drank and were merry with him. Joseph gave secret instructions to his steward. "Fill the men's sacks with as much food as they can carry. Put each man's silver back in his sack, and put my silver cup, the one I drink from, in the youngest one's sack." At dawn the brothers left.
Dawn at last. Let's get these loaded.
I'll help. This one is ready.
Good, through the gates now.
They had not gone far when the steward overtook them. "Why have you repaid good with evil? My master drinks from this cup and uses it for divination." They protested, "Far be it from us to do such a thing. Search us. Whoever has it may die, the rest of us will become your slaves."
Search us. Whoever has it may die, the rest of us will become your slaves.
The steward searched, beginning with the oldest and ending with Benjamin. The cup was found. They tore their clothes, loaded the donkeys, and returned to the city. They fell to the ground before Joseph. Judah spoke for them all. What can we say? God has uncovered our guilt. We are now your slaves, both we and the one in whose sack the cup was found. Joseph answered, Far be it from me to do such a thing. Only the man who was found to have the cup will be my slave. The rest of you may go back to your father in peace. Judah stepped forward. Please, my lord, let your servant speak. My father is old. This boy is the only one left of his mother's sons. His brother is dead. My father loves him. If I return without him, my father will die of sorrow. I myself guaranteed the boy to my father. I said, If I do not bring him back, let the blame fall on me forever. Now then, let me stay here as your slave in place of the boy. Let the boy go back with his brothers. How can I go back to my father if the boy is not with me? Joseph could hold back no longer. Have everyone leave my presence, he commanded.
Have everyone leave my presence!
When the room was empty, he said in a choked voice, I am Joseph. Is my father still living?
I am Joseph. Is my father still living?
His brothers could not answer. They were terrified. He said again, Come close to me. When they drew near, he said, I am your brother Joseph, the one you sold into Egypt. And now do not be distressed or angry with yourselves because you sold me here.
Do not be distressed. God sent me ahead of you to save lives.
God sent me ahead of you to preserve for you a remnant on earth. He threw his arms around Benjamin and wept. Benjamin embraced him, weeping. Then Joseph kissed each brother and wept over them.
My brothers, I forgive you.
Joseph, can you truly forgive us?
With all my heart.
Afterward, they talked together for a long time.
Brothers, after so long, my heart is full.
Thought you were lost forever.
The joy is in our reunion.
Word reached Pharaoh's palace. Pharaoh and his officials were pleased.
Great Pharaoh, word has reached us of Joseph's family.
This is good news. I am pleased. Bring your father and families. I will give you the best of Egypt.
Joseph gave them carts, provisions, new clothing. To Benjamin he gave 300 shekels of silver and 5 sets of clothes.
These are for you, my brother.
Thank you, Joseph. They're beautiful.
Enjoy them.
To his father he sent 10 donkeys loaded with the best things of Egypt and 10 female donkeys loaded with grain, bread, and other provisions. As they left he said, Don't quarrel on the way. When they reached Jacob they said, Joseph is still alive. In fact, he is ruler of all Egypt. Jacob was stunned. He did not believe them. But when they told him everything Joseph had said, and when he saw the carts, his spirit revived. It is enough, he said. My son Joseph is alive. I will go and see him before I die. So Israel set out with all that he had. God spoke to him in a vision at Beersheba. Jacob, Jacob. Here I am, he replied. I am God, the God of your father, the voice said. Do not be afraid to go down to Egypt, for I will make you into a great nation there. I will go down to Egypt with you, and I will surely bring you back again. And Joseph's own hand will close your eyes. The family journeyed to Goshen. Joseph prepared his chariot and went to meet his father. When he saw him, he threw his arms around him and wept a long time.
Father, it is you!
My son, my Joseph, you were lost to me, my boy.
Jacob said, Now I am ready to die, since I have seen for myself that you are still alive. Joseph settled his father and brothers in the best part of the land. They acquired property there and were fruitful and increased greatly in number. Jacob lived 17 years in Egypt. When the time drew near for him to die, he called Joseph and made him swear an oath to carry his body back to Canaan when the time came. Joseph swore. Later Jacob blessed Joseph's 2 sons, adopting them as his own, and blessed all 12 sons with prophetic words that would echo through the centuries. Joseph lived to be 110 years old. He saw his grandchildren and great-grandchildren. When he knew his time was near, he gathered his family and said, I am about to die, but God will surely come to your aid and take you up out of this land to the land he promised on oath to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He made the Israelites swear an oath. When God comes for you, you must carry my bones up from this place. So Joseph lived a long, fruitful life. He saw his family grow strong in the land of Goshen. He saw God's faithfulness in every season, through betrayal, through prison, through famine, through reunion. And he died content, knowing the promise still held. His story endures because it is our story too. A favored son thrown into a pit, a prisoner who refused to compromise, a ruler who chose forgiveness instead of revenge, a man who learned that what others meant for evil, God meant for good. Trust him. Hold on to integrity. Choose forgiveness freely. Because with God, the best is always still ahead.